In fact, Bob Rathburn, 34-17 over the last 10:29. Hawks overcome a 13-point deficit with 10:29 to go in the fourth quarter. A very unusual call there. They didn't call the goaltend, but they called the continuation on Collins. However, to the knowledge I have, the whistle is called on the ball hitting the glass, so that should have stopped all play from that point forward.
You know, we have the best officials on the planet in any pro sport, but that was a botched call at the end. A putback that counted on a goaltend call? What? What?
All right. Well, we'll look forward to some sort of explanation. I'm sure they'll get a pool statement from the crew chief Rodney Mott there.
What you said.
All in all, we'll wait for the last 2-minute report. This will be on that because this qualifies for that. But all in all, a great night. And Karan, congratulations to you. One of your best friends, Dwayne Wade, gave you a shout out tonight.
Big.
That's major.
You got a big love. Big love.
Man, that's much love. Congratulations, brother. So proud of you. That's big, man.
Absolutely. What a night.
All right. Enjoy this scoreboard. Good night, everybody.
Favorite moments of his career. Some of our favorite moments both on and off the floor. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. The other guys who were sitting here are now gone. We're back. I'm Kristen Ledlow. He's Earl Watson. He's Wes Wilcox. We're going to be with you guys for the next couple of hours. It's a 7-game Saturday in the NBA. And let's start with Dwayne first, because again, of course, we know that he's now roaming these halls and working with us. But before that, he had a 16-year iconic career in the NBA.
No, really did. And the Miami Heat, 3 days for number 3.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job with this. You know, incredible career, incredible draft in 2003, 13-time All-Star, I think 8-time All-NBA. This is a special night for a special player.
Unbelievable. And our Shaquille O'Neal considered him, well, at least called him, the greatest Miami Heat player of all time. I imagine it's undisputable, right?
I think it is undisputable. When he came into the league, he came in as a point guard. He transitioned to the 2, and he was a dynamic player playing above the rim. And like he said, he worked really hard and got better each season. And the greatest thing that stands out to me is his leadership, you know, leading those programs to championships. And even before LeBron joined, there was always the greatest rivalries, like seeing those two go at each other and seeing Wade dominate.
And it's funny because when LeBron gave his contribution to
his video?
The video, it was, I can't believe that we're talking about this. Like, we should be talking about where the statue was going to be. That's got to be coming sometime soon, right?
For sure. I mean, if you're this type of player for a franchise, Dominique to the Hawks, Stockton and Malone to Utah, certainly Wade to Miami, there'll be a statue outside of that arena.
Then which moment? Because LeBron brought up a few that it could be. What do you think? Which moment should be immortalized in bronze?
I think for me, it's the Euro step dunk versus Cleveland.
Oh,
I think it was
I like that.
Like, that was a great moment when he Euro stepped that he dunked it going behind his side to the right, and difficult athletic, and he's flash.
I don't know, that punch too, like when he wins and just shows that competitive nature. You know, I don't know, but it will be another great moment, you imagine, for the Miami Heat fans once they do get that statue out front, which they deserve. And Wade deserves.
Or the "this is my house," almost the like, "are you not entertained" kind of moment. Set it up on a table. You can do it that way as well. Do you guys have a favorite moment or a memory that sticks out when you think of the entirety of Dwayne's career?
I just remember in that 06 finals, right, where they're down and he was so great down the stretch. You know, just one of the most dynamic players, and did it without shooting the 3, which is just remarkable how good, how smart he was as a player to do it without that really as a staple of his game.
That's true. It didn't develop until much later in his career.
Yeah, most players like that tend to get better when they're more athletic, shooting beyond the arc, but you have to put in the work. And for me, it was the 04 playoffs. Playing against Baron Davis, my former college teammate. He hit some tough buckets against Baron, who is a strong athletic defender, but he did it with ease. And that was almost like the becoming moment of Dwayne Wade.
If you could sum up what he means to the game, how would you do it?
Well, what he means to the game, first of all, he has aged into a new career, and he has really become a mentor, it seems like, to so many before. You mentioned TNT. He's doing a great job, but it seems like it's really important for Dwayne to be a mentor and to give back, not just in basketball, but in life in general. And that's really, I think, special to see for a player to be that great, to be that socially conscious.
Yeah, well, and A lot of what he did in Miami when LeBron did decide to join the Heat, I think speaks very loudly as to the kind of man that he is as well. Not just the kind of player, but the person, because he sacrificed statistically, sacrificed a role, sacrificed even what was known as Dade County to welcome LeBron so that they could win.
Yeah, I think it's transcending for me. The way he's transcended his game, his leadership, from being in the forefront to being the guide when LeBron came, and then off the court having a platform to speak for those who don't have a chance to speak for themselves. He's taken and always been well-rounded. He's taken that platform and just elevated everything around him.
Well, elsewhere in the Eastern Conference, I'm being told things are heating up here between Philly and Milwaukee. Now the score with 6 minutes to go in that third quarter. Giannis Antetokounmpo leading with 25 points, 10 of 13 from the field, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. I feel like every night when you have to read out loud his stats, it's like, wait, again?
Every night.
How? What?
Do you think he heard Embiid say
Had to have.
that he was the best player in the
yes.
world?
Had to have. Well,
Looks like it.
But to put up those kind of numbers and to do it as efficiently as Giannis is now being known for doing it, they're not just these astronomical numbers, because his numbers can rival with those guys who are shooting twice as much.
I know everyone talks about the All-Star game and how the competition, picked up in the fourth quarter, but I think Giannis created that environment. One thing about players, when you get on the court, if one player tends to play hard, that becomes contagious, and no one wants to get embarrassed on an opposing team. So he forced LeBron to play better. He forced the opposite players to play better. And when you're alongside him, you don't want to be embarrassed as a teammate as well, and everyone just tend to follow.
What do you think is the ceiling? Not for Giannis, because I think we've all learned that there probably isn't a ceiling, but for the Bucks this season.
Well, I mean, they can win it. I mean, clearly they're putting together.
But they're not really in that conversation. Like when we have the conversation, it doesn't seem like it's.
We definitely get more attention to LA.
Right.
Because of the Lakers and the Clippers. But I don't think anyone in the NBA is overlooking what the Milwaukee Bucks are doing. They are putting together a historically great regular season with the chance to win 70, only the third time in the history of the league. They absolutely have a great shot to win the whole thing.
If you then, as a coach, see this is a possibility, this team could go down as one of the greatest regular season teams. Do you learn anything perhaps from that Warriors team just a few years ago that won 73 of them? Do you at any point as the regular season stretch is coming to a close think, okay, we pull back instead of pushing forward?
I think every team is different. I think for the Bucks, what they have to really secure is their point guard play down the stretch. Eric Bledsoe has to be dynamic down the stretch, but simple. Pulling back, running the offense, playing through Giannis, and getting under control in the paint. And that's going to tend to open up everything for that team with a late playoff push.
Again, we do tend to focus a lot on those Western Conference powers, but do you think that there's anybody in the Eastern Conference at this point that could end up giving Milwaukee a run for their money in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, the East is really good. I mean, there's a huge gap right now in terms of what Toronto's number 2 at 6.5 games back, but Toronto is fantastic. Boston is really, really good. This Miami Heat team, they are great at home. They've been a little inconsistent on the road, but they've shown that they can play with anybody. And, this game tonight for Philly, it's difficult because they lose Ben Simmons to the back. It doesn't look like he's coming back. But there are absolutely some formidable opponents for these Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs.
And it's so interesting that the Bucks have been the best team in basketball all season long, but really, realistically, if you look 1 through 5, if any of those teams were to represent the East in the NBA Finals, I don't think anybody would be surprised.
I don't think anybody would be surprised. And you asked the question, will the Bucks kind of pull it back a little bit?
Right.
They've already been doing that. This is one of the areas where Mike Budenholzer is fantastic. He manages minutes as well as any coach in the NBA, and you're not going to get Giannis playing 40 minutes a night. You're going to get Giannis playing 30, 32, 33, and he understands that's part of not only managing the season, but managing Giannis's career.
And their team was built deep in order to play that way, but for me, it's the Bucks. Nick Nurse has to be in the Coach of the Year conversation just the way they're playing. And last year playoffs, not only did they have Kawhi to make big shots, the Raptors did a great job of taking away transition baskets from Giannis with building 2 or 3 walls in transition for him to get to the rim.
Do you think, though, that without that go-to superstar down the stretch in the playoffs, that was Kawhi Leonard last season? It, of course, could be any number of, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam at this point, but without that guy, Do you see it as being a problem? I'm going to go here because you're smiling, laughing, thinking, no, maybe it's not a problem.
No, I think Pascal Siakam says, I am that guy.
Yes, right.
I think he has taken his game to another level.
Right, he's the most improved
That's
player,
right.
somehow.
That's right. I mean, he's got to be the leader in the clubhouse right now for most improved for a second time in a row because he's vaulted himself into that conversation of first team All-NBA.
Well, yeah, right. Has that happened?
I don't
know.
The research group needs to help us.
Right, okay, if it hasn't, then it has to be named after him then. It's got to be the Pascal Siakam Most Improved Player Award.
Coach Wood used to always tell me when I was at UCLA spending time when he would say belief is stronger than reality. And when you have a team that's believe and they won championship with Van Fleet, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam, they think we can do this together. We can hit big shots. We can drive and kick. We can hit a big three. Pascal believes can take over any game, and Van Fleet, we know when he gets hot, he's on fire.
Well, and I would imagine the mentality would shift